What's good, my friends? Welcome to another episode of Finance Friday. I'm very happy to have you guys on here. 2 weeks ago, I shared my job loss story and some of the lessons that I learned after losing my job and how I was able to get through that particular season of my life. And you guys really vibed with that video. You gave me amazing comments and you found that realistic, practical. And so I thought it would be important for today's episode to just follow through with that story, because one of the reasons I was able to come out of that situation was because I had to work a lot on my mindset and to shift my mindset from some things I was doing, some ways I was thinking, and now into a new mindset shift that helped me. I strongly believe that mindset shift helped me to be able to come out of poverty and to actually be able to get out of bad debt. So that's what I want to share with you guys in today's episode. 5 mindset shifts that I strongly believe helped me and could also help you to be able to come out of a poverty situation or just bad debt or a tough financial place. So stick around. Let's find out what those mindset shifts are. So I've said on this platform before that your money mindset is powerful. Not just your money mindset, but your mindset around life generally. And I've found that it is one of the most powerful tools that you can use alongside other physical tools to really shift and transform your life, right? So I have written down these pointers so that I don't forget. I want you guys to get all the juice. So the first thing that I had to change about my mindset was coming to a place of acceptance, right? I had to accept my situation for what it was at that time. No running, no hiding, no lying about it, no procrastinating, no avoiding, just pretty much facing your situation, facing your finances, and accepting that that is where you were, right? Now, I know a lot of us, we deal with things differently. I'm not saying that you have to cope with stuff the way I coped with stuff, but I have found that coming to a place of acceptance is more of a powerful move and one that could generate results for you than when you are in denial about your particular situation. Now, when I lost my job, one of the things that I was very tempted to do was just to keep, not to talk about it and not to process the fact that it had happened. In fact, I was very intentional in hiding myself in the house and then applying for jobs and then just getting back to work. That was my plan. Get back to work before people know that you lost your job. And I think it was just a period of my life I was feeling a lot of shame and I was feeling guilt. I can't even tell you why I was guilty, but it was just, I felt shame about my whole situation. I already grew up poor. I mean, people who've known me from when I was really, really young, people who've known my family, they knew I'm not, we didn't grow up rich. So I think getting a job for me, graduating, was such a big deal. And then going all the way there, working in an investments company, then ending up losing your job. I didn't want people to know that that was happening to me or that, I was not doing very well. And while that may be valid because not everyone needs to know your business, there was also an aspect where I had to realize that I'm not just hiding from people, I'm also hiding from myself. I'm not accepting that this is the situation I'm in. There's something powerful, guys, about accepting where you are, about accepting that, I've lost my job or I'm deep in debt. And that will really, really help you to be able to kind of view your finances and your situations for what it really is, where you really are, right? And what did that help me with? When I accepted that I had actually lost my job and this was my situation, I was deep in debt, I did not have savings, it kind of put me in a mental space of, okay, I've accepted that this is happening. I'm not gonna try to hide from it or run away from it. I'm gonna face my finances and face the situation. So that brought me to a place of actually being able to write down, I listed down all my debts, right? I had mobile loans, I had circle loans, I had an inherited loan. There was just so much going on. And instead of running away from that, I literally sat down and I was able to write down Who do I owe? How much do I owe them? Is there anyone here I need to pay on a monthly basis? Who can wait? etc. And then I went into my savings accounts and I was like, okay, what exactly can I do here? Now, I was able to look at like, so can I prepay rent in advance for like 3 months? Can I be able to pay one of these things that are mandatory for, at least a month or two in advance as I'm figuring myself out? And one of the things that I did, because the money that I had saved was not enough, I actually asked my former employer to send me part of the pension contribution that they were doing for the 3.5 years that I worked there, right? And liquidating your pension, guys, listen. If you have to liquidate your pension, there's nothing left. Like, there was nothing in my Sacco account, nothing in my bank account, and I'm just left with this much savings. And my only option was, okay, I'm 25, right? I can start all over again, but my bills need to be paid right now. So I liquidated part of, actually all of my pension contributions, my personal contributions, whatever my employer was already contributing was left there. And that is the money that now I budgeted for. And it was a good amount, especially because I was living way below my means at that particular point. I had like that money at least give me a push. Like I had like 3 to 4 months worth of expenses, and that kind of like helped me to be in a space where I'm not panicking. I'm now thinking, okay, now that I've taken these bills out of the way, the ones that were making me lose sleep at night, what exactly am I going to do about this situation that I am in? So that's the first mindset shift. You must accept, because when you accept, you deal. When you deny, you do not deal with the situation. So when you come to a place of, whether that is debt you're in, zero savings, no emergency funds, no job, accept that you're in that situation and allow your mind to fully comprehend where you really are at. Because I think that once you do that, you're now able to get into solutions mode. You're able to be like, okay, these are the debts, these are all the bills I need to pay. Where is the money coming from? So I was able to really think fast and kind of like, okay, what can I liquidate? What can I do to pay for my bills immediately? You see, when you have like a 3 months break, then you're able to kind of like come back, give yourself that breathing space to think, okay, in the next 3 months, I need to have gotten another source of income. So what exactly is that going to be? So that's the first thing. The second mindset shift was just realizing and understanding that no one is coming to save me. And that can be tough. Guys, it is very tough when you have to actually realize that, fine, I know I can, do you guys have these uncles? Let me know in the comment section. Do you have these uncles that keep telling you to send them your CV, or these family members? I did all that. Like I was calling everyone I knew, every connection, like, I'm out of a job. Can I send you my CV? Do you guys have this? Do you guys have that? And I'd get very demoralized every time, like someone would be like, I'll get back to you in a week or by end month, and it's 3 months down the line and that person has not talked to you, or you even call them and find out actually they forgot all about that CV you sent them, right? That was one of the experiences I had to go through, right? And one of the things that I had to, in the process of accepting, I also had to shift my mindset from these CV uncles or CV daddies will not save me. The government will not save me. My degree will not save me. In fact, the world does not owe me nothing just because I had a degree in economics and finance and I had 3 years working experience in an investments firm and I was cute and smart and all that. The world does not owe you anything. I think understanding that no one is coming to save me put me in a mental state, because remember we are talking mindset shift. It put me in a mental state to be able to show up for myself and stop the pity party. I had a pity party for a while, and just every time I would see people doing well, I'd just be like, oh, but these people have connections. This person's father works here, or his uncle works there, or her mom recommended her. And when you're just focused on justifying why every other person is doing well and you're not, you will never show up for yourself. So understanding that no one was coming to save me and that I actually had to take matters into my own hands and take control, right? So I was like, okay, do I have connections? I had none. Is my mommy and daddy rich that they're gonna make just some phone calls and I'm gonna get a job? Absolutely not. Are my uncles for CVs showing up or calling me back? Absolutely not. Even my friends, as in, so I have to show up for myself. I have to do what is good for me. And this is where I kind of like put down the pride. In fact, for a moment, I was just like, you know what? These degrees don't matter. What can I do to make money right now? Because my bills do not care that I do not have a job. They need to be paid right now. And being in that place, it humbled me, because I didn't start choosing jobs. I was like, whatever that I can do to make money, as long as it's legal and it's moral according to my values, I'm gonna do it. So even if, you see, I mean, even if some people would be like, wait, you have a degree in economics and you're doing freelance writing, getting paid 200 bob a page. I didn't care about that at that moment, because I had accepted this is where I was. But I wasn't also gonna sit down and pity myself. I had to show up for myself. And in the process of actually doing the online jobs, freelance writing, then I was able to stumble into other online opportunities, which led me to what I am doing right now. So you must realize no one is coming to save you. You have to get up and do the work. You have to get up, do the research, go onto these online platforms, make it your daily job. If you're jobless, make it your job to go online and figure out how other people who are freelancers and they're not employed, how exactly they are making money. I did that for like 2 to 3 months before I was able to finally like get my first paid gig, where I did like an article and I was paid for it. So you have to save you. No one is coming to save you. If someone else comes along, whether that's a relative or a friend that maybe gives you an opportunity or gives you a business idea or gives you some money or tells you there's an interview somewhere, please show up. Let that be a bonus, but you have to show up for you. That's a lonely journey. You still end up feeling a bit like, why am I alone? Why isn't anyone showing up for me? But stop focusing on that and start realizing, I mean, I'm so proud that I can say I'm self-made, right? Like everything I did, I worked for it myself, right? So that's another thing that really helped me. The third mindset shift that helped me to be able to come out of poverty and bad debt especially was budgeting and consistency is not for the rich people only. So before I learned about budgeting and I started appreciating its place in getting me to financial freedom, I used to think that budgeting is just something rich people do. In fact, I've asked this question myself, and I've also had clients ask me, they're like, Susan, what exactly am I budgeting for? This 10K I earn, this 5,000 I earn on a daily, or on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis. What am I budgeting for? The moment I pay my bills, the amount is over. I have nothing left, so there's no room for me to budget. And that is one of the most faultiest mindsets you can ever have if you want to come out of poverty and if you want to come out of bad debt. Listen, guys, we've talked about budgeting so many times on this platform. I'm pretty sure you've seen it online on other platforms. You've read about it. Budgeting works. Take it from me. Consistently budgeting and sticking to a budget works. Whether you have little money, whether you have moderate income or you have a lot of money, budgeting is not just for rich people only. And when that settled in me, when I understood that, budgeting is a skill, it is a tool, I can learn it and use it for my own advantage, I started understanding what exactly is budgeting and what is not budgeting. So some of the things I had to unlearn is that budgeting will restrict me. Budgeting, when it is done well, it's not supposed to restrict you. It's actually supposed to help you to be able to live your best life, okay? I had to unlearn that budgeting is just having a list of your bills. If you're listening to me right now and budgeting to you is just writing down the rent, utilities, transport, and food, that is not budgeting. Budgeting is sitting down with the 10,000 that I have earned and racking my brain about how this money will cater for these 4 very important categories: my needs, my debts, my savings and investments, and my wants as a last option, right? So it is not just having, it's pretty much looking at, okay, if I earn 50,000, if I earn 40,000, if I just can get 20,000, what can I do to ensure that this money serves at least 2 to 3 of these categories. Sometimes it won't serve all the 4. Sometimes it will just be able to pay for your needs and to be able to pay for your debts. Or sometimes you'll just, if you don't have debts, it's gonna pay for your needs, and just the rest, very little, is going towards saving for like things like your emergency fund or school fees. But ideally, a budgeting is a spending plan that should include all of these 4 categories. And when I started doing it is when I started figuring out, okay, this money is not enough. What can I stop? I stopped doing my nails. I started doing my hair from home because I'm slashing all the things that would make me not, or rather would make me spend money on things that are not necessities, right? Budgeting will probably make you realize that you don't earn as much as you think, or you don't have enough money, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That will push some of us to either make some drastic lifestyle changes, or to be able to be pushed to want to make more money and to increase your sources of income. So for me, one of the things that worked well for me is that I wasn't really interested in, I grew up poor. There's pros and cons to it. One of the pros is that you're already bottom of the barrel, so you're not trying to compete with people. I didn't have a lot of lifestyle creep going on. So I lived with my mom in a single house with my younger brother. That's what we could do. That's what we could manage then at that particular point. And that was just my life. When you looked at me from the outside, of course, I tried grooming myself and looking nice. And no one can tell, no one needs to know. And even if people know, that is, remember, acceptance. Point number one, this is where I am right now, and this is what I can afford to do right now. Your opinions do not pay my bills. That's just what was up at that particular point in my life. So when I was budgeting and I realized I honestly cannot afford to make my hair, I started making it from home. I cannot afford to go out with my friends all the time. In fact, I remember that season of my life, a couple of my friendships suffered because now I can't meet you guys as often, and unless you guys are paying for me, I can't. Yes, I know it sounds like a joke, but I cannot pay for a cup of tea at Java right now, or wherever it is, even if I know it's 250 bob, but that's my fare for the whole maybe week or 2 days. But you have to get there. So when I started understanding that I can use budgeting as a tool, as a skill that can get me from point A to point B, I started incorporating it. So I drew up my budget and I started racking my brain about, where is this extra money going to come from? I need money to pay my debts. I need an emergency fund, because I have seen what can happen when I lose my job without an emergency fund. That's the situation that I was in, right? So budgeting is not just something that rich people do. It is something that you can do at your 10K income level, 50K income level, 100K income level, 1 million income level. Everyone should budget, because budgeting is simply an intentional spending plan for your hard-earned money. So if you do not know how to budget, guys, and if you've never done a budget before, I actually have a done for you Excel sheet for 750 shillings, Kenya shillings only, that you can get, and I'm going to link it down in the description box below. And it is done for you in the sense that I've been able to curate it in such a way that you will see all the things you need to budget for. We have somewhere where you can budget for savings and investments, debt repayments, your bills, your wants, your short-term projects like those curtains you want to change in your house, school fees, long-term projects like land acquisition, and even a food and shopping list, so that you can be able to track how much food are you guys how much are you spending on food on a monthly basis, because that's one of the areas where I find that a lot of my clients bleed money. That is a very good starting point for anyone who's never budgeted before and you want to start practicing. Don't budget in your head. Don't take mental notes. Work with that template. It is editable. You just have to enter the numbers, and we have that budget that can last you from January all the way to December. So please click the link in the description box that is going to be labeled budget tracker to be able to get your budget tracker for 750 shillings only, and you're gonna thank me. I promise you, okay? Now, if you've already been doing an Excel sheet, you've been doing a budget, and it is not working out very well for you, I will also link down below a budgeting masterclass. I have done a 3-hour self-paced training for you guys who've been trying to figure out budgeting. Like, you probably have the Excel sheets, you've been trying to work with them, and you've also been trying to use some mobile apps, but budgeting, it just seems like it doesn't like you, right? It's not working for you. I have a masterclass where I've been able to take you through a step-by-step guide on how you can change your budgeting from a budget that's not working, something you hate doing, to something you thoroughly enjoy doing. I want to teach you guys how to budget for your best life. The catch here is, if you get the masterclass, you do not have to get the budget tracker, because the masterclass comes with a free budget tracker that you can actually use to apply what you've learned during the class. So I'm going to link those 2 resources down below so that you can be able to start budgeting for your best life if you have never done it before. Okay? Now, let's move on to the 4th mindset shift that I had to develop, and that is developing a wealthy person mindset. You guys know there's such a thing as a scarcity mentality and a poverty mindset, and if you've grown up in poverty, you know it all too well. There are things you cannot spend money on. You're like, mimi sina pesa, hizo ni vitu zao, hizo ni vitu za wadosi za kununua. I had to start unplugging myself from that place of poverty. If you've grown poor, you've grown up poor, some of those things stick with you and you don't even realize it because they are pretty much second nature. Some money habits and some money mindsets. I started asking myself, what do wealthy people do? I'm not saying fake it till you make it. I'm saying start asking yourself, a wealthy person's mindset. Get into that and start understanding, how do wealthy people think and what do wealthy people do? And I started kind of like reading up and reading finance books and exposing myself, and I learned wealthy people plan strategically. So with my small coins, I started planning strategically. Wealthy people do not just save because they understand that you cannot save your way to wealth. You must invest your money. What is the difference between saving and investing? Saving is just preserving your capital, it's capital preservation, while investing is capital multiplication. So wealthy people understand that on top of just saving, I need to invest. I need to put my money where it's earning interest and it's growing. That's the only way to make wealth in the long term. So I started thinking, okay, I need to educate myself on how to invest my money and how to grow my money, how to invest and grow and multiply my time, right? So when you start exposing yourself and you start desiring a wealthy person's mindset, I'm telling you, the way you think and the way you behave changes. And your habits and your behaviors, guys, become your destiny. I believe because I started thinking like a wealthy person even before the money came, and I started exposing myself to what do wealthy people do, how do they think, what are some of the resources they must absolutely invest in, and I started doing that. That changed my mindset, which in turn changed my behavior and my habits, and I believe that is changing my destiny even up to right now. Wealthy people invest in knowledge. They invest in networks. They read, they network. In other words, they build their knowledge bank. Most of these people are willing to pay crazy amounts of money just to get the right help and to get the right information. Now, we live in a day and age where you can watch YouTube videos like what you're watching right now. You can get free courses with people like ALX or on Skillshare, on Udemy, free courses or something that will probably cost you less than 2,000 or 3,000 shillings and get the right information. Changing your mindset and moving from a scarcity mentality to an abundance mindset will make you wealthy and eventually will help you get out of poverty and being in debt. And it did that for me. All right. Lastly, you need to know your numbers and to know your financial freedom numbers. Every time someone would tell me, what would it take for you to we keep saying, I just wish I came into some money. I wish I had the, I wish I had money. I wish I got this job. But most of us do not even know. What would it take for you to achieve financial freedom? What would it take for you to get out of debt? What is that income goal? When you say that I want to get a good job that pays me a lot of money, define a lot of money. You need to know your numbers. Don't just work with abstract figures. How much debt do I have? I think I've told you that I listed that down. So start asking yourself, what would it take? Exactly how much? Write it down somewhere. Put it on your vision board. It works, and start working towards that. Like when I listed my debt and I knew like I had like 300K in loans, I was like, you know what? This is the number. This is what I'm crushing this year. I need to bring it down to 200 or to 150. Know your numbers. When you say, I want a job that pays me well, baby girl, how much is well? Do you want 50,000, 100,000, 200,000? Put figures. I've found that when you put figures to what it takes to get to financial freedom, what is a good salary, what define good salary, define debt freedom, even go ahead and calculate your financial independence number and find out how much would I need to have in investments so that I can be able to achieve financial freedom. I've shared this before. One of my goals by the time I'm age 45 is to have my passive income exceed my active income so that I can start slowing down and working less. Instead of just saying I want financial freedom, I've gone ahead and calculated exactly how much I would need to have in investments so that I can be able to achieve financial freedom by the age of 45. Guys, nothing fires you up more than a clearly defined goal and a clearly cut out strategy. Because once I was able to define that, then I was able to start working backwards and asking, okay, I need 32 million invested somewhere by the age of this, by 40 or 45 million. So I have like another 20 something years or 18 years left to go, or 5 years left to go. So how can I achieve this goal in this timeline that I still have left? So I hope that gives you perspective on why it is so important to clearly define those numbers. So guys, these are the 5 mindset shifts that I experienced. I hope this was helpful for you guys. You can let me know in the comment section down below if you found it insightful, and if you have any questions, you know what to do. So thank you so much for watching. Remember to do the necessary. Share this video, like it, leave me a comment, and remember to subscribe so that you can be notified every time I upload a new video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next episode.